Hey, hey, what's the matter with?
Oh, Jim, how you doing?
Oh man, fucking I don't know.
Are you ready for another week, man? You ready for another app?
Another week? Yeah, fucking hell. It's well, I mean, did anything even happen? We haven't had a chance to talk about it. Yeah, like the last week or wait, how long has it been?
Well, it's only been like 7. Yeah.
Oh.
Ha!
So it's been a while.
Yeah. All right, hang on. I'll get myself just set up the last couple of things here, and then we'll just go. All right, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So it's been 9 months.
Yeah, roughly 9-10 months, something like that. Fuck.
It was a while, dude.
Yeah.
Turns out life got in the way pretty hard. I was up. I'm not even in Mount Isa anymore. I moved house and all sorts of things have happened, and we both stopped streaming there for a little while.
I mean, completely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I'd stopped content creation, and you did a little bit, but we're back.
Well,
The boys are back in town.
sort of. At least I'm back to doing this. I want to keep doing this, but I'm not going to bother streaming until the house is built. But get into that later.
Fair enough. It's so nice to be back. Like to be sitting in the chair. I mean, obviously you know, but like people listening wouldn't know. We've got the script doc back up.
Yeah.
Like all sorts of nostalgia. There's a big headline here. It says season 2, baby.
I always found it weird to have like seasons of a podcast, but I mean, with that big of a break, you can't really just say like, "Yep, we've just picked back up where we left off." Too much time has passed for that.
Yeah, well, that's what we tried to do with that skit in the start, but it's good to be back.
We were talking for 2 minutes before we were just like, we really can't like. It's not possible to just go.
Yeah, it's not. You can't just jump back into it. You got to have some sort of lead in.
Yeah.
Man. If there's anything that my high school girlfriends told me is that you got to ease into it. That's
Christ.
It gives me great pleasure to say the next bit, Jim, which is welcome back to NULLSCORE, the podcast where we have a terrible habit of disappearing for almost a year and then reappearing for seemingly no reason. My name is Hamish, and this is my co-host, Jim. How does it feel to go through a digital resurrection, mate?
Mate, it feels like Doom 2016. Feels like we had, we had a few like little in-between things there that, I don't know, we didn't really stick to, didn't really foster enough, didn't take care of, and now we're kind of back doing what worked.
That's it.
What we enjoyed.
That's it.
Maybe it's a better way of putting it.
Ready to rip and tear. That's the play here. Man, I mean, since we did last podcast, they obviously did the new Doom Eternal game, but did they have the soundtrack issues that they had with like Mick Gordon and that big breakup?
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, that all happened.
Yeah, so this today it's a little bit like a recap episode, which if you've ever watched like a TV show and they have a recap episode in the middle and they're horrible and you hate them, it's kind of like that, but you'll enjoy it, I promise, because it's all an update on what's happened since we last recorded, which
it's all about us. I don't really want. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't like that kind of thing. Like it just feels like we are not individually interesting enough to sit here and talk about ourselves for an hour and a half. As long as it's stuff that we can make fun of. It's just like, for me, mostly spent the last year like learning how to make cocktails while going through house stuff, which is not interesting. Like it'll be interesting when the house is built, but all the paperwork and just the bullshit back and forth in between, that's not interesting or fun. It's just signatures and reading.
Yeah, no, it would be horrible. It'd be reading contracts, all that sort of stuff.
Man.
So it's you going through the conveyancing process and then learning to medicate in the best way possible, basically, with cocktails.
Yeah, maybe that's what pushed me to drinking even more than I used to. Used to just have like just the odd shoey on stream for a laugh, and then some scotch or whatever in between. And now I'm like full blown. I can tell you what the differences are between bourbon, scotch, and rye whiskey. I can tell you the differences between Australian versions of these things and what the rules are, considering Kentucky whiskey and other, like, it's just I dove
now you're
hard into it. I wouldn't say talented. Like, the only thing keeping me from being an alcoholic is knowing that I have responsibilities, I have work, I have that puts it makes sure that you're like,
things to
can't
do.
really. Plus, if you push yourself towards really expensive alcohols, then you look at the bottle and you go, any more than 2 of these drinks, and I'm just wasting money.
You're gonna die. Yeah. Oh, anymore.
You won't die, but the bottles are fucking expensive, so to replace them.
I see what you mean. Yeah, you're talking like really like crazy good alcohol. I thought for a second you meant like crazy strong alcohol. You know, like grain liquor, where it's like you take a sniff of it and you can't drive.
Oh, you're talking about moonshine, pretty much, like stuff that's not cut yet.
Yeah.
Well, I have got a bottle of 60% that a guy at work made, which will fuck you up a bit.
60%.
I have a bottle of
Holy
Booker's bourbon as well, which is straight from the barrel into a bottle. So that's the one I have is 63.2%, I think, but they go higher than that. Each one's different.
Jeez.
Well, yes, I have some strong stuff there.
Bloody hell. Well, I've got gee, what am
Where
I
do we start?
doing now?
I mean, there is the fucking Twitch leak, but do we even want to talk about that? I haven't done enough research into it at all.
Twitch being shit's kind of Twitch being shit.
You could do that every week.
Let me give you the lowdown. Let me give you the lowdown on. Let me give you the lowdown on what's happened in my life recently. Catch up, yeah.
Hamish recap.
So, Hamish recap. Yes. So since the last podcast was recorded, now I went back and had a look. And it was recorded December of 2020. I think it's the 18th of December 2020.
I think that's when we published it. But it would have been a few days before that. So
when we published before. Okay, so even earlier than that, right? So a week before Christmas. Since then, I have gone through. I've left Mount Isa. So I used to live and work in Mount Isa. And I've moved back to Toowoomba, which is the town where I grew up in.
Yep.
I'm with the same company, so I'm still doing the same work I was doing. I'm still doing criminal defense law for the same company, but I work in different jurisdictions, obviously. So now I do a lot of circuit work. So I'm in like 3 different towns every week, trying to like manage all of their courts and whatnot. And I live here in Toowoomba now. Most significantly, I live by myself now. I am a single man. So once Meredith and I moved back to Toowoomba, it was all mutual and whatnot. But we were just like, hey, we were living in a bubble up in Mount Isa, and now we're not. So
you were what up in Mount Isa?
Living in a bubble, I think, because we were so isolated from friends and family, we kind of just like stuck together.
Yeah.
And then once we came back, we were like, oh, this is not exactly what we thought it was. So we ended up splitting up. It was amicable. We're both friendly. If I ran into her in a bar, I would talk to her, absolutely. But as a result of that, Ollie does not live with me anymore. Ollie's gone to live with Meredith.
Yep.
So now I actually do live by myself, which is the first time I've ever lived by myself.
Without roommates, without anything.
Yeah.
No other living creatures in the house.
Correct. Yeah. It's just me in the house. And initially that was very difficult to get used to, but now I've kind of got the hang of it. And I'm also, I'm doing much better with gym and whatnot. Like GYM, not you. I mean, this is the first time we've really spoken to at length. We tend to like just DM each other random memes.
Yeah, like it's just once every couple of months, like, he'll get a kick out of that guy that I used to do the podcast with.
Yeah. What did you send me? You sent me the like guy from the, is it Green Arrow, where he's like,
I sent you the Grant Gustin meme
down there near the grave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's all like such a good. And then we've also got like, I think about the last month was when we were discussing about bringing NULLSCORE back. And so you were sending me memes, like you set up your desk and then it was like the really miss my wig.
Yeah.
It was so good. But yeah, so now I've almost done a complete 180 really. I'm not doing content creation anymore. I'm in a new house. I live by myself.
It's not only you not doing content creation. I noticed you changed everything, like all of your stuff that had Viserys TV, except for your YouTube channel. It's the only thing that stayed how it was. But your
the YouTube and the Twitch stayed, but everything else is
your Twitter and Instagram changed to pretty much just your name.
Yeah, so I mean, Instagram is now just probably Hamish, and it's been fun because it's just sort of. I think the thing with content creation is a lot of people don't realize it's so much time.
Yeah.
Just time. It's not, I think a lot of people look at it and they look at the equipment and whatnot and they're like, wow, that microphone's expensive. Wow, that camera's expensive. Wow, that computer is expensive. Those games, those software, the blah, blah, blah. Yes, there's a big cost in that. And there's a huge upfront cost as well.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like you have to put this money in to kind of get started. You don't have to put the money in to get started, but you understand what I'm saying. The biggest cost to you in content creation, without a doubt, by far, will always be time.
Yep.
It will always be time. Whether you are editing, uploading, recording, setting up, doing everything outside of actually like playing the game or streaming takes up so much time. So when it was really weird when I started living by myself, not having that like content stuff to do. I just had massive amounts of time. Just freed up.
Did you not feel like you had a creative itch that you couldn't scratch? That's really what led me to doing cocktails in the first place. Was just while I was going out and buying them at places, I started thinking like this would be better if they swapped out this ingredient for this ingredient, or like maybe more of this and less of that. And that was because we had stopped doing the podcast because the room that I was in was hot as fuck and didn't even have a ceiling fan.
It was pretty bad.
It was fucked. And you moved. You got busy around Christmas, and you're saying that you probably weren't going to be home for like another 2 weeks or something. Then you were like, maybe I'll set up here because it'll be longer. And then you just kind of disappeared for a while. I was like, all right, well, let's just go on hiatus anyway because it's hot as fuck here, and I really don't want to sit in a room with 2 PCs running. We'll just put it on hold for like a month or two until we're both settled, and then it is now 9 months later.
Yeah, exactly right.
Life happened.
What happened? Yeah. So what happened was I moved out of my house in Mount Isa. I think it was in January, and I moved into the company house in Mount Isa, and then I had like 3 other colleagues that I lived with there, and I had to set a desk up in the middle of the place, but it was basically it was kind of weird to have to record a podcast surrounded by people I work with.
Yeah. Because you can't I remember thinking that it was like, we talked about this off podcast a few times about how sustainable this podcast even was going to be, because some of the jokes that we made on here are like, obviously not good. If you're working in a government position, they might eventually find out about this stuff and go, we really don't want to be associated with that. You either need to stop doing that, or we have to let you go.
Like if you look at the 3 clips that we've put up on YouTube, like you could maybe get away with Soggy Box. Like Soggy Box could probably be okay, but if you showed a prospective employer like firing range or the Twitch counseling one,
I think the cock carousel one's definitely the worst. Like that streamer therapy, absolutely. I think it was.
Streamer therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
These clips we're referring to, by the way, are still on the YouTube, the NULLSCORE YouTube, and you can check those out whenever you want. But if you showed anybody those, you'd be like, ooh. Yeah.
See, I've been looking at changing jobs as well because now the house is, all the financing that went through a couple months back.
Did I send you that meme where it was like, did you follow your dreams or are you forklift certified?
I think I saw that on Twitter. Before you showed it to me, and then you showed it to me later. I was like, yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to drives forklift away in anger. That's
Drives forklift off a cliff.
Forklift,
The slowest
let's go.
fucking yeah. Just imagine like the fucking like the Thelma and Louise scene, only it just like slowly creeps off the edge and just like smashes against the rocks on the way down.
That's it. That's even the fall is slow. Like you creep over and gravity's got like a half effect.
Go over
It's
backwards
just-
so you have the reverse like beep beep the whole time as well.
that would
fuck.
absolutely be the play. Oh
Yeah,
dude,
so I've
this
been
is
trying
so
to get
good.
out of
Being
doing
back
what I'm doing and trying to move up, because what I'm doing right now, they're closing a bunch of sites and they're making one huge site, which in a way is good because it cuts about 40 minutes each way travel time off.
Wow, 40 minutes each
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, because it's an hour away from where I
Holy
live.
Shit.
So I travel an hour
That's
to and from work.
nuts.
This new site's
Yeah,
about
40
20
minutes
minutes
is
away
huge,
from.
dude.
It's fucking huge. It's a huge amount of time, man. Like, that's the
Like,
difference
it's
between deciding
statistically-
whether or not I stream that night. Like,
Oh yeah. And that's the other thing as well, is it's not like 40 minutes of you sitting in a chair. That's 40 minutes of you driving. Like it's fatiguing.
in a lot of traffic
It's-
too,
it's-
because like the traffic
Yeah.
is fucked. It doesn't matter what way you go because of the where I have to end up, where I have to go to work, and where I'm coming from. There is no way to avoid lots of traffic. I either drive through
Yeah.
Fremantle or I drive on the freeway, and either way is shit. Those are the only two
Yeah.
ways that I can get to where I need to go. So
You don't really have an easy option.
no, there's no easy option. I just have to
Yeah.
be used to driving, and the Ute is manual, so that makes it more annoying when it's slow. Going
Yeah.
between
if-
neutral
so if you
first,
see
second
a-
neutral.
A grumpy long-haired man in a ute in Perth.
Yeah,
Then you've probably seen everybody. But if you see James,
you're describing half of Perth, so like
I was about to say, yeah.
no, yeah, like the new site would be good because it's only 20 minutes away instead of an hour, but they're talking about you're condensing I don't know 4 or 5 different sites into one. So that means opportunities for advancement, career advancement, going from being whatever level to moving up. You're gonna get stuck at level 3 or 4. I'm at 4 now, which is like team leader.
Yep.
It's one step behind supervisor.
Gotcha.
There won't be many supervisors on this site. They're not going to need that many. So
No, because it's one site.
yeah, it's one big
yeah.
site. So there's going to be nowhere for me to go once I do go to that site. So the best option is to just fucking find somewhere else to work. That's all I can.
Yeah, okay. So
that's all I
you're
can do.
seeing the writing on the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is.
Like, it's not like I'll be out of a job, but that will be the job that I'm stuck in. That's a dead end.
Yeah. You don't want to do that. No.
No.
Look, I tell you what. Speaking of dead ends and the thing you were talking about earlier with the creative outlet, when you give up streaming, you need to like scratch that itch.
You need something to do, yeah.
You know what it was for me? It was gym, and it was like going to the gym and whatnot, because I shit you not, the principles that they use for gym is exactly the same as you do for RPG progression. It's like it is exactly the same.
Do this thing a bunch.
It was literally I was talking to a PT while I was there, and the more that I learned, I was like, this is just MMO strategy. That's all this is. This is just RPG MMO strategy, because it's min-maxing. That's what it is. I was looking at it and he was like, yeah, so your nutrition's broken down like this, and then that feeds into your training, and your training feeds into how you do your recovery, and blah, 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 blah. It becomes a circle, right? And so it's just about optimizing each of those components and then applying what they call progressive overload, right? So increasing it slightly each week on week on week. And in order to do that accurately, you have to record it. Yeah? So all of a sudden, I was going to the gym and recording, numbers and repetitions I would do for exercises and whatnot. And it would slowly increase. And I got the same itch I did whenever it was like, level up. You've unlocked a new ability.
Because you're
Level up.
progressing.
You can lift
Because
heavy
you're
shit.
feeling
Yeah.
a sense of
Yeah.
achievement, progression.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking to the guy, and he was like, man, you've got, like, it's pretty nuts to think you've only been training for a couple of months. You've got a really good handle on your training diary and your nutrition. And I was like, listen, buddy, all right, if I can run, several tier 8 mats through the marketplace on Final Fantasy 14, I can handle counting my rice and broccoli, okay?
Yeah.
I got this. And that for me, that was the scratching of the itch, because I mean, you know, I'm to my horn a little bit here, but I did really well. They ended up doing like a little gym challenge. It's like a fitness challenge thing. It would have been 6 months ago. And there was like 30, 40 people, and we all had to get in and get fit and lose some body fat and whatnot. And I won. And I lost the most out of anybody. I won like $500.
Fucking
good
hell.
as.
See, I kind of went the opposite way
8
to you.
kilos of fat.
I stopped.
Stopped exercising.
I'm back to 105. Yeah, no, I'm back to 105 kilos because I just didn't
Let's go.
I just didn't bother with any of that
Bulking
shit.
season,
Like,
baby.
how can I take these drinks and make them better? Or how can I make sure that I perfect these drinks to the point where they're better than the ones that we're paying $20 to $30 fucking dollars for when we go out?
Yeah.
And it is like that. I do have friends at the moment still that are asking me like, when's the next drinks night? When are you doing drinks again? Because like it's they don't mind bringing shit for me to make the drinks. They just want me to make them because they're better than what they go out and pay for.
There you go. So you've developed a reputation as a bit of a mixologist.
Among a very small crowd. I didn't want it to become like, you know, that many people know or ask me to do it, that like I'm spending all my weekends being a fucking like a unpaid bartender people's parties. Like, I don't want to fucking do that.
Unpaid, but that would be so horrible. Could you imagine? That would be the worst thing if you did just be like some guy's 40th and you have to cater as a bartender in some like.
But I mean, it wouldn't be that bad because like if when you're paid, you have to listen. You have to listen to the person saying like, I want this drink made this way, and you having to explain to them like, you don't make an old fashioned with egg white. It's a stirred drink.
Yeah,
you need to shake an egg white. It's like what you're talking about doesn't make sense. I'm not going to make that drink. No.
No,
like,
you're asking me.
I don't have to be polite. I can just say, yeah, I'm not doing that. No.
You're asking for a dual cab Camry. What do you want?
Why won't you make it? Like, if you want it, you can fucking make it yourself. Just don't touch any of my shit.
Yeah.
Buy the shit yourself and fucking do it. And I could just be fucking as rude as I like. Because I'm not getting paid shit and it's my stuff.
Yeah, you get the creative freedom. That's what you. That's the.
But I started doing that, and I also started diving into like just cooking like steak properly, like properly cooking.
Yeah,
medium rare steak, big fucking cuts. I think you've already done a bit of that on like that barbecue that you had set up out the back. The stream you did in your backyard.
That was so much fun. That was like the little barrel barbecue that I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did a stream like that. We cooked some ribs and shit on that. That was awesome.
Ribs and shit.
Yeah, it's a while. You again. This is 9 months since we've recorded,
and that was when you moved to Mount Isa. I think it was not long after you moved there. I think that was the stream that I was like, I still remember. Tiny was like. She was just sitting there watching like, this is a weird stream to do. I was like, no, this is a fucking good stream. This is who else? How many other streams can you go find right now where someone's doing a barbecue in their backyard? Go find me that stream and show me that stream so I can watch that one. There's probably not many. Yeah. Hamish is doing something different. And then you put up you had like I can't remember if it was a stream goal, like a fucking dono goal, or if you just casually mentioned that like, yeah, this is all the furniture we have right here that you can see. So I sent you some money for a couch. I was like, go buy a fucking couch, you bum. You have no furniture in your house, but you have a fucking barrel barbecue. Fuck's sake. Get some furniture so you don't look like you live in a fucking crack den. You're a lawyer, for Christ's sake.
People do. Okay, I get that all the time now. Like, okay, so I think it's my personality, but more than anything, I hate cluttered spaces, right?
Oh, I fucking love having everything right where I can reach it.
Yeah, see, you and I are on two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Like,
okay,
I hate it.
When you have a mess, do you have trouble finding things?
Okay, is this the granddad's shed argument? It looks like a pile of shit, but you know where everything is.
It is, but I don't care. It's fucking, for some people, for me, I can have organized fucking chaos. I know where all my shit is. Yes, there is stuff fucking everywhere. If you ask me to find one thing, I can find it straight away. I know where it fucking is. I know where it is.
No, so for me, it's all about I only ever have anything in my house that has a purpose and I'm going to use it frequently, right? So, for example, I don't own a TV, right? Because I don't watch TV on my couch. If I'm going to watch any sort of media, I'm usually on my computer. So I look at it.
I'm going to counter that though. Okay, so I'm going to throw something at you to counter that. That's fine.
Yeah, all right.
If you're completely 100% satisfied being single, you don't ever want to bring girls home. That's fine. Because who gives a fuck? You're going to eat at your desk. You're going to watch it at your desk. Who cares? You want to play games? Yep. You don't have to change. You don't have to turn everything off. Move rooms. Bring your drink. Oh fuck! I left my phone in the other room. You don't have to do any of that shit. Everything's at one fucking spot. I understand that.
Yep.
I don't do that because, at least when I am single, if I want to bring a girl home, you have to have a fucking couch. You have to. Otherwise, they're like, oh, you're one of those dudes who just games and does nothing else. Like, no, like all of my shit. They don't understand that everything, all of your entertainment needs are on a computer now. Everything's on a fucking computer. You don't need to have a couch and a TV.
I need to say, I do have 2 couches now.
You have 2 couches. Why? 2.
Well, okay. So I've got a lounge room out here. What I'll do is I'll take some photos. I'll take some photos of my like house and I'll send it to you after the podcast started. And you can show
Is one the couch that you have like a webcam pointed towards, like for when you do bring girls home? You fucking you creeper.
No, I don't do that. But I have 2 couches out in my lounge room area. It's like
setting up his own casting couch.
Yeah, setting up my casting couch. There is no job. In fact, if you have a job that I could do, that would be fantastic.
It's like a black fake leather couch. That's for
good pleather.
Been wiped down suspiciously recently. Like it's suspiciously clean. There's not a speck of dust on it. Why does it get cleaned so often?
Why does this room smell like lemon fresh all the time? Why does this smell like Pino Clean?
It's so strange. The couch itself is clean. Yeah. The carpet underneath looks like someone has spilt mayonnaise everywhere. Why?
So Jesus Christ. So I have heard that the way that I decorate my house is very, very Spartan, right? And so I've had people over and they're like, wow, it looks like you've just moved in, or wow, you decorate like a boy, like there's no decorations.
Did you move in last week? No, I've been here for months.
No, I've been here for 9 months.
I just don't like stuff. I don't like having things.
Dude, it's dead set. That's me. I'm like, if I buy shit, no. I'm like, fuck, I gotta put it somewhere and it's gonna be there all the time. Like, I get really frustrated. You can't see it now, but my room is just an empty room. I've got my Final Fantasy triptych. I got my green screen in the back, and then I got a bar fridge with some board games on it. That's it.
Just what I can see on my desk right now. There is the launch pad that I was using for stream and for sound bites when I was running the Pathfinder campaign. Something else that's in my recap. There's 2 fucking keyboards.
So, I looked this up, by the way.
Yeah.
And Pathfinder it's like you're not talking about a Nissan Pathfinder. You're talking about like D&D.
D&D
like campaigns.
3.75. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, lots of maths. That's how you trick people into enjoying maths. Play D&D.
Oh, okay. Is that how they got the 0.75 in there? They have to do maths?
No, D&D 3rd edition I think at some point got updated 3.5, and then that got the Pathfinder 1st edition was adapted from D&D 3.5. So some people call it D&D 3.75. It's just expanded D&D 3.5 edition. It's incredibly nerdy, and I feel strange being looking at the 2 of us. I feel like you look like the one more likely to be like, oh yeah, and be explaining all this shit to me. While I stand there holding a fucking pre-mixed bottle of, turkey and Coke and just staring at you like eyes glazing over.
Yeah,
but I know the system well enough to run games. And you're like, I had to look this up. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's exactly how it would be. I think if people looked at us, they would assume one thing, and it would indeed be the opposite. It would be like,
Depends.
Like
Depends, really.
James
isn't
is
it?
the one in control with all the knowledge, and I'm here ready. Like,
Not really. If they look at the both of us and they say one of these men is a lawyer, the other one's a warehouse operator or storeman, can you pick which one's which? They're gonna get that one right. They're definitely gonna get that one right.
Okay, but if they look at a D&D campaign and they go, one man knows all the rules and one man will try and fuck a goblin. which one is it?
Which one is it? Yeah, they'll get that one wrong. One of these men is very into cocktails and the other one probably still drinks beer. Which one is? They'll get that wrong.
Which one? They'll get that one wrong.
They'll get that
They'll
wrong.
absolutely get that wrong. Yeah, one of these men.
Like, you know what a pina
knows how to
colada
fix
is,
his
don't
own
you? You know
car,
what the drink
and
looks
the other
like.
one-
Is that fair to say? You know what it looks like.
Yes, I.
Can you tell me
vaguely
what's in
familiar,
it?
yeah. No, absolutely not. I all I know about pina coladas is that they have that song where it's like some pina coladas in the rain.
Two assholes that are like trying to cheat on each other, and they're like, it's you, the person that I'm trying to cheat on you with. Let's just have a laugh and then go like pretend this never happened. No, you guys should break up. Absolutely, you should break up.
Cocktail made with rum, cream of coconut or
White
coconut
rum.
milk and pineapple
Usually white
juice.
rum. I've made some with darker rums and Jamaican rums, and they're not bad, but white rum works best.
Yeah, well, because it's got that white, creamy appearance to it.
White rums should be usually clear, like see-through.
Yeah, okay, but the drink as a whole,
It's mostly pineapple and coconut that you can taste. You use a Jamaican rum,
whites and yellows.
It will overpower. Like it kind of overpower. Listen to me. Fuck. The Jamaican rums usually have a very strong flavor, so like overpower everything else. They cut through. If you use a nice white rum, it'll add a little bit of sweetness, but won't be overpowering and won't push its way through the coconut or pineapple too hard. Unless that's what you're after. In which case, fucking you do you. Dump a bunch of Karuba in it. I don't fucking care. Make the drink you want to drink.
I would like to play a little game.
Okay,
James,
play your game
because I'm interested in this mixologist development that's come from you. Now, you have 3 people that you have to make drinks for.
Okay.
All right. You got to make a drink for your mate. You got to make a drink for your girlfriend. And you got to make a drink for your boss.
Okay.
They can't be the same drink.
Can't be the same drink. Okay.
What are you making?
For the boss, I'll probably just make an old fashioned, but I'll use like wild turkey rye. So it's only 51% rye, so that spiciness and stuff's there, but it's also still pretty heavy on like corn, so it doesn't lose too much sweetness.
Right. So for those of us that don't know,
Depends.
What an
Is my boss a man or a woman?
amongst
I'm guessing a man, like an older man. That's what you're implying.
Yeah, let's say he's like an old guy. He's like 55. He's kind of
Tough.
done with the world.
Yeah.
He's got like a big mustache. Like, you know, one of those mustaches that comes down.
How big
over your
mustache? Are you
top
talking
lip?
about like a Sam Elliott, like a proper fucking cowboy mustache? Or are we just talking okay.
like a big stash, like a big stash.
Yeah, so-
and he talks like he's like, hey,
Okay.
James, you got those reports?
Probably an old fashioned then. Either an old fashioned or I'll offer him like a rye whiskey or something neat in a Glencairn, a proper whiskey glass.
It gives you know what it is. You know what it is. Actually, I retract that. He has a very deep like Aussie. He's like a. Hey James, you got those reports that I need.
Well, he might want that, or he might want a rum and
that's
coke.
that mustache.
He might just want rum and coke.
Okay.
In which case,
But which one are you? What's the risk are you taking? Which drink are you making?
I'm making the old fashioned.
Okay, you make the old fashioned.
Yeah.
What about the girlfriend? Girlfriend comes over. It's like like you're down to watch a movie. You're sitting down on the couch. Maybe she's got popcorn or something. You want a drink? She goes, yeah.
I made a drink for this. I made a drink for this exact thing, and so far it hasn't missed once. Every person, every woman that I have made this drink for has liked it. Even if they said that they wouldn't at first.
Do they know that the other women have tried and enjoyed this same drink? Because I feel like this is what I was actually going, hey, I made that special drink for you.
No, it's not like that. No, it's not like that. It's just here's the thing that I fucking came up with. It's
all right.
It's 3. How do you explain this?
First of all, what's it called?
It doesn't have a name.
Does it have a name?
No, legitimately the thing that I have saved for it, the instructions for it, it says the thing that has no name yet.
Okay, so the drink is the drink that has no name.
The thing that has no name yet, yeah.
Okay,
So it's 1.5 ounce or 45 mils of Chambord, 22 mil or 3/4 ounce of white rum. Usually use Havana Club 3. I've used Santissima, the 3 is Santissima, which is another white rum. They're both Cuban white rums. They're very, very similar, but Havana Club's slightly better and slightly more expensive.
Okay.
So you get a tall glass, a tall thin glass, because they look, I don't know, the drink looks more fancy in the
highball.
Yeah, highball glass. Yeah, highball or a Collins.
Yes. Okay,
either way, very, very similar things.
Yep.
Cut a little wedge of lemon, squeeze it and drop it in. Then put the ice on top of that to hold the lemon down the bottom. You can add a bit more lemon juice if you need to, but usually, like if you've cut a big enough wedge of lemon, squeeze it and drop it in. That's
You've
usually
probably
enough.
done it. Yep.
It's usually enough.
Yep.
But put the ice
And
in.
that's that. Oh, yep.
Then chuck your Chambord and your white rum in, and then top it with the Schweppes traditional raspberry fucking lemonade thing.
Yes.
It's not really lemonade. It's really just fucking raspberry, like cordial but fizzy. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Top the rest of the glasses away with that, and then give it a bit of a stir. That's it. You can jam a fucking wedge or a wheel of lemon on top if you want it to look fancier. But
so I'm imagining like a pinkish red kind of beverage.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like because if you use the traditional raspberry, it's a bright red. If you use like their pink, they have the packs of 4 mixes, the Schweppes mixes.
Yeah.
It's darker because the Chambord is like deep purple. It's
Gotcha.
It's a bit darker, but if you use the bright red thing, it's fucking bright red. It is very bright red.
And what does that taste like? What is the vibe on that one?
You will barely taste the alcohol in it. It's just sweet. Tastes if you're using Chambord, it tastes a bit like Ribena, but with other fruits in as well. A little bit lemony. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a hard thing to describe. You should buy the things and make it. You need
so it's a very fun drink, is what you're telling me.
It's a summer drink. It's something that if you're going to be drinking in summer, that's what you would drink. You wouldn't just fucking pour yourself a rum and coke. You drink something like that so that it doesn't, like it kind of just looks like you're drinking a fizzy red drink. It doesn't even look alcoholic.
You underestimate my power, mate.
You could pour a rum and coke if you wanted to. It's really up to you.
So you've served the boss an old fashioned. You've served the girlfriend the drink with no name.
With no name, yeah.
What do you make for your mate?
My friend.
And yep. And it is. Let's say for your mate. Let's say that it's.
Tell me about this.
Let's say he's had a bad day. He's had a really shit day, right?
A really shitty day.
He's got a flat tire. He had to change it. He had to change the tire in the rain. And then, when he went to change the tire in the rain, a car went past and then the guy stopped and he said, "Do you need help?" And your mate went, "Yeah." And then the guy said, "Well, sucks to be you," and drove off. Like really bad day.
Is that a really bad day? All right. So
he says, "I need a drink." And you say, "I got this for you."
So he wants a strong drink, is what you're saying.
Yes.
He wants something
absolutely.
that's going to he wants to be fucking taken out of the game, but he doesn't want to be drinking like it. So if he's drinking it too fast, he doesn't want to be throwing it back up in, hour's time.
Yep. Exactly.
All right.
Yep. We're in the utilitarian area now. This is approaching chemistry. Medicine is what we're looking at here.
Probably an amaretto sour then. What I originally had planned was not this, but yeah, amaretto sour.
Right. Okay. How would you prepare an amaretto sour?
Get a rocks glass, chuck a big fucking piece of ice in the middle, set it aside, let it start to chill the glass a little bit. Okay. Grab your shaker tin, crack open an egg, only get the egg white in there. Get rid of the shell and the yolk. Put the tin together with no ice in it. Shake the fuck out of it to emulsify the egg white. Get it to foam up a bit first. Crack them open. Put in your sugar syrup. I mean, without getting into too much detail, that's a personal preference thing. How much you use and what strength it is. I use a half ounce or 15 ml of 2-to-1. Usually I'll use a raw sugar. syrup because I just like the flavor.
Yep.
White sugar syrup doesn't really add any flavor. It just adds sweetness without any difference in flavor. But I think raw adds a flavor that I like. So that's just what I use when I make them for everyone else.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Dump that in. 15 ml or half ounce of lemon juice. For Yanks, I think they or Americans usually use 3/4 or a full ounce. Their lemons must be weaker than ours because the lemons here, if you put a full ounce or 30 ml pour of lemon juice in there, it is so fucking overpowering that the whole drink just tastes like lemon and nothing else. So half ounce, 15 ml of lemon juice.
Gotcha.
3/4 pour of a 3/4 ounce or 22 ml pour of whatever bourbon you like. Usually I'll use if I'm using something strong, cask strength, like the Bookers I was talking about earlier, I'll only do 22 mil. If I'm using something weaker, like I've made them with other bourbons, stuff that's like 45%, I'll usually go a full 30 mil pour just to bring it up a bit.
Gotcha. Right. Because remember, he's at like a 1 right now. He was out there changing the tire. Old mate's come up and said, "Do you need help?" And then he's gone driven off.
He's had a shitty day. So dump those in.
And
dump all that in together. And then put in 1.5 ounces or 45 mil of amaretto. I usually use just Serrano at the moment, but I don't know. If he's had a shitty day, maybe get something a bit stronger. Like the, I can't remember the name of it. Lazzaro or something like that. It's a red bottle. I've got a bottle here. I just can't remember what the fucking name of it is.
But the trick there is just get this man drunk.
Well,
he needs to
get him
be,
drunk, but just it's still like it's a sipping drink. It is a sipping drink, and like the bourbon is what's giving him a kick in the ass, but the amaretto and the sugar syrup are kind of sweetening it up so you don't notice too much. But put all those in the tin, shake the fuck out of it, pour it over the ice, and then dump a cocktail cherry on. The cocktail cherries that I make here, I buy cherries, jam the pip out of them with a fucking straw, and then I put them in a mixture of simple syrup and cognac, so like brandy, and you just let them sit in the jar for a while and then scoop them out and put them on top of the drink. So it's very boozy, but it doesn't taste like, it just tastes sweet and like vaguely like almonds, a little bit of lemon, and then the cherry sitting on top of it.
Hell yeah. That's the vibe. That's the vibe right there.
So yeah, a sweet drink with a bunch of different flavors, little bit of fruit flavor, little bit sort of nutty, and then whatever bourbon you use. If you use a nice bourbon, you will taste it. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably that's the one that I make for people when they say make me a drink. I go, what do you want? And they go, oh, just make me anything. That's usually the one that I make. That's the go-to. Only one person has not wanted that, has refused that because it had egg in it. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with egg? Really? I just don't like eggs. It's like, all right, so I made him a mojito.
Here, have the fucking toothpaste of drinks.
That's a bit rough. Mojitos are all right.
So I'm biased because I had mojitos one time when I was out, and this was 2 girlfriends ago, and so. What happened? By the way, I'm tracking time by girlfriends. I don't know if you caught that.
No, I can do the same. I can do the same thing. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, you have like errors in your life, and you're like, yeah, this was like 2-3 girlfriends ago. Anyway.
The tiny age, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
I still have the XCOM trailer, which has like you, me, Tiny, and Ninja in it, and I was like, that did not age well.
I don't care, man.
But I was at a bar in Brisbane, and it's called Fridays, right? And Fridays was like a hangout for law students, basically. That was the crowd that went there. It was like this riverside bar that still did like, cheap standards and mixes, right?
Yep.
Anyway, we went there for New Year's Eve. I was there with me, a guy I know really well now called I call him Munzie. And he's a barrister now, but I was sleeping on his couch around about that time. He was a really, really cool dude.
He's a barrister now. I was sleeping on his couch. It's so casual.
Dude, he was a barrister back when I was sleeping on his couch. I was working for his mate's firm, and he was just good mates so he used to get a lot of work from another firm in town, and I was mates with one of the guys that worked there. So we went out drinking with him a couple of times, and then he was like, I said, "Oh yeah, I got a job in Brisbane, so I have to figure out how I'm going to do it because I have to drive, an hour and a half from Toowoomba." He goes, "You can just sleep on my couch if you want." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I slept on his couch for like 6 months. So super, super cool guy. Anyway, we went out to New Year's and went out for New Year's, and I remember a lot of the night before the mojitos came out, and then he ordered like 10 mojitos for the table. There was like
Jesus.
5 of us. So we had just like shit tons of mojitos. I was drinking them. Now here's the thing. I felt like I was fine, right? You know when you're drinking.
Yeah, go on.
Well, actually, there's a bit of a twist here. So you know how when you're drinking and you feel it when you're at like a 3, right?
Yep.
So I'm saying like at a 3, you're like, yep, I can definitely feel the alcohol. Like a 1 or 2, you could probably, if you really, really paid attention, you could probably see some level of effect, but it's kind of like, nah. Like 1 beer, you're kind of like, nah.
Yeah. The 3, to me, what you're describing is that point where you're like, you get up from the stool to go to the toilet and you're like, whoop, stand up straight. We got to walk to the toilet without bumping into anyone. Don't knock anyone's drinks over. Everything's fine. Just pay attention.
That's a 3. That's a 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you might think if you're sitting there like, wow, getting up off the stool and thinking that you've got some issues is a 3. Like, that's a bit low, don't you think? No, you don't understand.
No, that's a 3.
There's a lot of levels. there's a lot of levels. That's a 3. So before the mojitos got there, I was probably a 3. After the mojitos were done, I was probably like a 5, right? I think I was like a 5 or 6 maybe. And that's where you're sitting there and sometimes you fuck up your sentences.
Yep. Your conversational skills have taken a bit of a dive, and then eventually you're like, you know what, I gotta go to the toilet. You get up, you start to walk around, you bump into a few things, and in your mind, it's acceptable to steady yourself on strangers. Like, just reach out and touch them to like, whoop.
Yeah. And I'm usually like good enough with it where I could like, I'll tap a guy on the shoulder and like some big Kiwi bloke will turn around and look like try and stare me down. I'll be like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm usually pretty good at that. Right. And so I ended up like, also, by the way, a hallmark of the 5 out of 10 is like leaning or like putting one arm up when you're like at the trough, I think. Is like having the hand above your head against the wall. That's a symptom of a 5-6.
See, guys like you. So those guys. This is why. Now I'm gonna fucking say something that at first I don't go piss at the troughs anymore.
I love the way that sentence starts. You're like, I'm gonna say a thing.
Yeah, I don't go piss at those anymore because too many times when I've been there, guys like you who are 5s who can't handle their alcohol. They come in, you fucking lean on me, you push me towards the trough, you put the hand up, you fucking turn around and talk to me. I'm like, don't fucking speak to me while I'm having a piss. Don't fucking do that. And then there's too many of them that they can't just turn their neck. They have to turn their whole body, and then they're like, their piss is hitting the fucking trough on an angle and splashing back on you. I've been pissed on by too many drunk strangers. I don't go to the fucking trough anymore. I will wait for someone to be finished taking the shit to end all shits. I would rather go in there and deal with their shit smell than I would to actually get pissed on. Because poop particles on my nose I can deal with. But if you piss on my shoes or pants, how the fuck can I do anything about that? I have to go home. It's the only way I can do anything about that.
And the worst part about it is it's not even like you're stepping in it. Like sometimes you go to a concert or something, it's kind of grotty.
It's like, it's on the bottom of my shoes, whatever.
Directly pissed on.
I'll just find some fucking water to like wipe the bottom of my shoes off on before I get in the ute and it'll be fine. But if you've pissed directly on top of my shoes or onto my pants for me, you pissed on my pants for me. Thank you. You've saved me the trouble of getting so drunk that I did it myself. You've skipped me ahead 2 or 3 steps in the night.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, that is a symptom of a 9, and you have just rushed me. Do not rush me. Yeah, right. So I managed to shuffle my way back out of the bathroom, back to the table. Now I am with my girlfriend. I said there were 5 of us, right?
Yep.
It was me, my girlfriend, my mate, his girlfriend, and Munsey. And Munsey later on was like meeting up with some other people. I can't remember, right? But the point was there were 5 of us there. I was a 5, verging on a 6, having just finished these mojitos.
Verging on a 6, yeah.
Now, my girlfriend, however, was a solid 8.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, gone.
Like a solid 8. So I'm talking like staring into the ether, like leaning on the table.
Yep.
you know, when someone's got their elbows on the table and they've just got the 1,000-yard stare.
See, I've only ever been that drunk at other people's houses or at home, never out in public. Because that's a shit, especially as a woman. I feel like it would be worse for women. That's a shit position to be in because you're fucking vulnerable. You're just trying to make sense of the sounds that you're hearing and the things that are flashing in front of your eyes, and you're like, where am I and where do I go from here?
Maybe because there was like all 3 of us there. It was like me, my mate, Munsey. She was like, it'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
But she was tanked. And so it hit midnight. We did the whole fireworks thing. And I think that this is a symptom of the 8 zone where you either become like fully just inept, like you can't do things, you slow down, it's like you're permanently debuffed, or you have that thing where it's like a chance at paralysis, like in Pokemon, where they're either doing the 1,000-yard stare or they're just 120%.
The start of every turn, you've been hit with paralysis, and the start of every turn, you have a chance to break out, but RNG is not working in your favor. You're being every turn like, for fuck's sake, snap out of it.
That's what the 8 is, right? And she was definitely fluctuating because it would be like 3 turns out of 4, she would be 1,000-yard stare, and then 1 turn out of 4, she'd be like a full-on woo girl for like 2-3 minutes. She'd be like,
full-on woo girl, what's that?
Woo!
The chicks who go and do like 2 or 3 Jaeger shots and then start drinking whatever the fuck else, other vodka garbage that they...
Yes. Yeah. So I've basically decided, right, I need to get her home, okay?
Yep.
Now... you don't need to be a genius when I tell you that getting a taxi at just past 12 on New Year's in Brisbane is a nightmare.
Yeah, I bet.
It was an absolute nightmare. And I was in the taxi rank for 40 minutes trying to keep this girl alive because, like I said, she was a solid 8, right? And it was between her, like, putting her full weight on my shoulder and being, like, near dead. And then subsequently being like, you know what? Why don't we just jog the 6Ks back to the house? Why don't we just jog? Why don't we just run? And then when I'd say it's a bad idea, she'd just take off running. Right?
Yeah.
So I had to come back. Thank God the guy behind us in the taxi queue was like, look, man, you're doing a good job. Just like, I'll save your spot. He was such a good bloke. Went up and fetched her. Managed to get her into the cab, right? And she's doing I'm doing it for the video watchers here. If you can watch the podcast on YouTube, or you can check it out on Spotify. But she's chucking I call them I call them hello and welcome to the hotel, is when you're in the back of a taxi and you've got like your hands in your lap and you're just like sat straight up and you're trying to pretend that you're not drunk.
Yeah. That's sober.
You know what I'm talking?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, welcome to the hotel.
You're better off like if you're absolutely fucking tanked and you don't want people to know it, you have to allow a little bit of that drunkenness to come out, but just try and keep a lid on it slightly. Because if you try to act perfectly sober,
it looks worse.
It looks so you're so
worse.
fucking awkward. It's so awkward, and people can tell. Like, man, they're trying so hard to look sober, which means they're probably absolutely fucked.
Exactly. And you know what? A drunk person's opinion of a sober person is just boring. So drunk people will just do nothing. They're like, yes, sober people, finance. Like,
kind of felt bad.
Anyway,
last time I was out, this guy was he was at that point. He just approached. Yeah. He approached the bar, and there wasn't really any spots because everyone was all sitting around the bar, or like ordering drinks or whatever. Yep. And he just kind of approached next to my buddy sitting 2 seats away from me, walks up and he's just singing a fucking song. I can't remember what it was, but
Look, man, he's drunk. It's probably Piano Man.
drunk.
Let's be real.
Tall. This is so most of the Irish dudes that I've seen like in Perth have been shorter than me. I'm 5'11", so I'm not that fucking tall, but like average, I suppose. Average fucking height.
Yeah, you're average. Yeah, 5'11's average. Yeah.
Yeah. This was the tallest Irish man I've ever seen. He was pretty fucking tall, and he wasn't like smaller, and he wasn't like one of those tall, lanky ones. Like whenever people, I think, picture a tall Irish lad, they picture this tall, skinny, redhead guy, you know, wearing one of those little fucking old man hats. No.
Yep.
he was tall and pretty fucking big. But he was just drunk as fuck, and he was singing. Just singing as he approached the bar, and he's like leaned across my friend, and he's singing towards the bar, and then he's turned to my friend singing. And I can see that my friend's like, he's not enjoying it, but also like the guy's harmless. He's obviously not aggressive at all. So I was like, I'm gonna feed this. I did exactly what you would not want. Like, as the partner of this person, you would not want this to happen. He was there for a beer. So I said, I said, mate, that's the best thing I've heard all night. I'll pay for your drink. So I bought his fucking beer. So he kept singing louder, and he's singing. He's leaning across my friend, serenading me across the fucking bar.
So your mate's getting just all the beer breath as you're.
He's not only getting the beer breath. When the bartender brought his beer to him, he held it in his left hand, turned to me because my buddy's on my left, 2 seats away to my left. So he turns to face me. So his beer is right next to my friend's arm. I'm pretty sure he ended up wearing half the guy's beer on his left arm, just like from shoulder down, just half the beer getting spilled because the guy kept singing. And he kept asking me what I wanted him to sing. I was like, anything, the song that you want most to sing. So he starts singing.
Sing the song of your people.
All I can remember is him loudly, like most of it was like, he was that fucked that I could barely make out what he's singing at all until he got to the chorus, and then he loudly sang out, "God help me, I was only 19," or whatever the fuck. He's singing that fucking, what is it, the Vietnam War song? It's like an Aussie song.
Jeez. Vietnam Aussie song. Is it the I'm only 19? No. Khe-Sanh?
No, that's not an Aussie.
No.
That's Jimmy Barnes, but not.
Aussie Vietnam song?
God help me, I was only 19. What's the fucking song called?
I was only 19 from the movie Danger Close.
Red Gum's video for Australian #1 single. I was only 19. A walk in the light green.
Get out of this place.
No, that's the Angels. It's not. No, it's not that. That's a totally different fucking thing. No, it's by Red Gum. Only 19. I was only 19. A walk in the light green. It's the most widely recognised song by Australian folk group Red Gum. Yeah, it was that. That's what he was singing.
All right, there you go.
There.
What a dude. By the way, just to finish off my story with the girlfriend at the taxi, got her back to the house, put her in bed. She was the level of drunk where she would lie down and she'd be like, "No, this is horrible," and start complaining about how the room was spinning. So I had to end up going downstairs, getting her another beer.
No.
So that she could drink that and just pass out.
No, you get a bucket, Hamish. You get a bucket and you put a bit of water and Dettol in the bottom of it. And make sure that she's close to the edge of the fucking bed. Put a towel. This is something else I learnt from, I'm not going to name any fucking names here. But
a certain era of your life? Is that what you're saying?
A couple, funnily enough. Two separate occasions I had this happen. If they're to that level of fucking drunk, the bucket with water and Dettol is not enough. You need to get a towel or 2 towels and make sure that they're double layered across the bed along their fucking along their hips.
Oh no.
You have to.
Good.
Because if they're that fucking far gone, they might
Something's
just fucking
give.
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
It comes out of one end or the other, or sometimes both. And it's better to just do that stuff and deal with towels than it is to have to pull your entire fucking bed apart.
Fair enough. Holy moly. Jesus. Bro, that's we're coming up on an hour now.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Look at us.
I just want to say, like, man, if you think, like, when kids piss the bed, Like little kids piss the bed, and there's like this huge fucking patch the size of like I don't even know what, like the size of a fucking torso, and you're like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of piss. You should see what it's like when a full-grown adult full of alcohol pisses the bed. They piss the entire fucking bed. It spreads everywhere.
Entire bed.
To the point where sometimes it's hard to tell whether it's just piss or they got alcohol sweats and they just like sweated and pissed the whole bed. The entire fucking bed.
Shit. Holy shit. Oh God. Fuck. What do we usually do at the end of a podcast? We read comments. Don't we?
Yeah. Do you want to read comments from the last fucking episode that we uploaded, December 18th, 2020? Jesus Christ.
Yep. Give me a second. I'm bringing it up now.
I'm going to read Eyehole Man's comment because I don't understand it at all. Nah, they were the right sound words. I don't remember what that was about.
Nah, they were the right words. I don't know what that comment relates to 9 months ago.
Sorry, Eyehole Man.
Thanks,
if you watch this, I have no idea what that was about. I'm sorry.
What have we got? Stolt here. Mate, the amount of issues I have found in Cyberpunk 2077, both game breaking. Oh, this was around the release of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a while now.
Both game breaking and visual, the comment would be so long. One issue I found, I saved the game during a drive mission. I was the passenger. When it reloaded that save because I died, my character spawned in the driver's seat, so I was sitting inside the driver.
Oh, no.
It was weird.
It just reminds me of The Thing, like the 80s, The Thing with Kurt Russell. Like how it absorbs people and has like multiple faces sticking out and shit. It's like,
Oh, The Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just imagining him promising all this stuff in the interviews for No Man's Sky and the devs listening to him going, what the fuck? That isn't in the game. I was never told about this. We were talking about all like the interviews where he was like, yep, that's the thing you'll be able to do. Devs watching
That's
interviews
still
like,
one of my favorite videos is the
Sean,
Engoodening
shut
of
the
No
fuck
Man's Sky.
up. Shut up.
Sean, what the fuck? Sean? To their credit, if you play No Man's Sky now, a lot of the stuff they promised is in the game.
It's only, 3 or 4 years later?
I mean, yeah, look, it did take them a while, but I mean, after No Man's Sky, the game developers just kind of went hell for leather with broken games on release.
Oh, here we go. This comment is for you. This next comment is for you. Why don't you read this one?
Which one? Hang on.
After, it's in his replies to that comment.
Starts with
fuck Maccas. Starts with fuck Maccas.
Fuck. Starts with fuck Maccas. That's
yeah.
What a good way
you
to
read
start.
This because he agrees with me and not you.
Fuck Maccas. The first and last time I had a Maccas coffee, it made me sick at like 9 a.m. in the morning. Had a full work day ahead of me. This is when so
you were defending Maccas coffee.
Okay, look, I know where I went wrong, and I know why I went wrong, because you have to understand, 9 months ago I was eating Macca's for breakfast. I used to have it was like a big brekkie burger, so it had like a beef patty, hash browns,
I know the
egg,
ones.
bacon.
Yes, I'm familiar.
They're not bad. They're not bad, all right? But I used to have one for breakfast nearly every day. Coffee, a hash brown. For lunch I would eat like a big bit of Subway or something like that. For dinner, I would usually eat like a full large pizza, 3 beers, and like one of those like Magnum pint ice cream tubs. I was a fat man. I was a very fat man, and my eating habits were horrible. And at the time, I was like, yo, food is good. I will get food from wherever I can get it. And so I know now why the whole Macca's thing was a big thing, and I would defend Macca's. Now that I'm back in Toowoomba, I have a huge amount of cafes to choose from. And
defending
I can make my own
Macca's
coffee.
is
I have
fine.
a coffee machine.
Defending Macca's is fine, okay? If you're going to go out drinking, I will stand by this until I am dead. Yes, McDonald's is not the best food. But
excuse me, you're saying defending Macca's coffee is
kidding
a bad
Yes,
decision.
Macca's coffee is fucking terrible. Okay, I understand they have those big fucking machines that potentially can make really fucking nice coffee. Problem is, they hire people who don't know how to use them. So it doesn't matter how good the machine or the coffee going into it is. If they burn the fucking if they over extract it and turn it to shit every time and they burn the fucking milk, it doesn't matter how good the beans or the machine is if you have fucking dipshits operating it. Okay, an F1 car is only fast in the hands of an experienced driver, a good driver. If you grab a P plater and stick him in an F1 car, it's getting crashed. or it's going to be slow.
Yeah,
it doesn't
put a
matter.
P plater in an F1 car. You've either got a very expensive paperweight or you've got a dead kid. That's all you've got.
Most likely
Those are
both.
the two options.
A very expensive paperweight, a good story, and a fucking funeral. That's what you have.
Jesus. He always wanted a race car bed, but the race car became his deathbed. That's what...
The fucking race car coffin. All right, let's move on from that.
Oh, God.
Don't buy Macca's coffee.
Move on.
If you're going out drinking, the McDonald's itself, it's fine. If you're going out drinking, fucking a double quarter pounder or a double cheeseburger, either one is a good point to start if you intend on drinking and then driving home later. Don't go overboard. Anyway,
now it's worth noting we've burned up our usual regular hour time slot, but what we did not do this particular podcast, and something that I was wanting to see if it would go through unnoticed, is we didn't have a sponsor spot, and I think coming into season 2, we should have a new sponsor.
A fake sponsor that doesn't actually sponsor us.
Exactly, a new fake sponsor. I think a new fake sponsor would be good. So if I'm hoping that some of the regulars will come back. We'll get this out there. A lot of people will see it. Let us know in the comments who you think would be a great sponsor for the NULLSCORE podcast.
Look, I'm going to throw a suggestion out there. Another Aussie drink company, The Gospel. They make, they make the nicest fucking rye whiskey. It's not even that expensive. Just going to throw that out there.
All right, so we'll go from coffee to alcohol.
Because look, it may as well be alcohol or cigarettes, because a mainstream sponsor is going to want nothing to fucking do with us, okay? We make too many... we were just joking about P-platers dying in F1 cars.
That's right, yeah, the race car deathbed.
McDonald's or Coca-Cola, they're never going to come anywhere near us. We joked about Pokimane fisting herself last year, all right? We're not fucking...
Oh, yeah, we did too. Watch the video back on that one, because I had like a full-on head tilt. I was like, did we actually?
Yeah, we did.
And I was like, oh, yeah, no,
it's
I remember
in the
episode.
thumbnail. It's in the thumbnail. Oh, boy. Let's keep reading these Let's keep reading these comments. Look, manipulating RNG is only not cheating if it is done through glitches in the game itself. So like speedrunners, I guess.
Modifying. Talking about Dream.
Yeah, we were. Modifying game programming to change the RNG values or manipulate the RNG is cheating. Example, I watch a few Zelda OOT speedruns which can manipulate RAM in the console based in the controller inputs and save file name. This is a glitch. That sort of shit's been around forever. Like save file name.
I feel like I feel like that is a glitch brought about as a result of player input in game. I think when you start to do stuff
if you're modding the
outside
game,
of the gameplay, then you create that issue. Yeah,
well, that's what he's saying. This is a glitch, however, if they were modifying the game to achieve the same outcome, it is cheating and should not be allowed. That also being said, these things are discussed in their respective communities as to whether they require their own category of speedrunning.
I know that there's, for Mario Sunshine, there's a separate category where you can use a hacked ROM that skips it's like a mandatory 1.5-minute unskippable cutscene at the start of a run.
Yeah.
So they cut it out. They were like, yeah, we'll just mod it so that you can skip that cutscene or it doesn't play. And people had like a big complaint about it. And I was like, could you imagine having to wait 90 seconds every time you restart? Like, of course people are going to skip that.
Oh, dude. If 1.5 minutes, okay, those Mario Sunshine or whatever the fuck it is, speedrunners need to go play Metal Gear Solid 4. There are so many long fucking cutscenes in that game. More than half the game is basically a fucking movie.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That would be rough.
What's the next one? I'm just going to send my comments for the vids in Discord from now on. They keep getting deleted for some fucking stupid ass reason. Somehow that comment got through.
I mean, maybe
some of these others. Same with iHole Man. iHole Man would type out these long fucking comments, and I get an email like with a preview of the comment. Go to the video, it's not there. It's gone.
Jesus.
Fair. Can't figure out why it keeps happening.
A couple of times.
Mother Susan, can you fuck off and stop deleting comments on our videos? Thanks.
Story
That's the best
time.
way
I
to
was
go
doing a
about
few
it.
side missions and one of them had a lot of loot to the point where my inventory was full. So I hobbled my way to what I thought was a vendor that I could sell stuff to. Wasn't paying attention. Clicked what I thought was the $sign in the chat to open the vendor, to which he responded with, "This will be the best time of your life," or something to that effect. I then was treated with a cutscene of him seducing me and then having a super happy fun time with my booty hole. What made it all the better is that after the cutscene ended, my character was still walking slow due to a full inventory, so it looked as though being pounded from behind for Hortberg.
Hurt poor V. Oh.
I couldn't finish the sentence. Cyberpunk 2077. What a great game. What a great game.
I couldn't help but comment on that
Holy
one.
shit.
Because he later told me that it would cost him $100 in game for that. Like he paid for it.
Oh, like 100 in-game credits.
Yeah. So I said, you paid $100 to get rifled from behind? Pretty sure I could get that in Northbridge and it would only cost 2 hours of my time and a couple espresso martinis.
Jesus Christ. Bloody hell. Well, if you want to catch more versions of the podcast, you can. It's available on YouTube. It's NULLSCORE. I think it's just NULLSCORE. And you'll see it's got the blue and the red NS. Obviously, we'll put up this sooner, or I don't know, in the next couple of days. We'll work it out once we get back
I'll probably edit it
back
tomorrow.
into the swing.
Be Sunday before I edit it.
Yeah, and then of course, it's on all good audio platforms as well. Spotify, Google Podcasts, yada, yada. You can keep up to date with what we're doing. For me now, it's pretty much just my Instagram, which is probably _Hamish. And then for you, you may be streaming again soon?
No, not soon. The slab still isn't down for the house. I'm not going to go back to streaming until I have... Yeah, I'm not going to bother streaming again until I have the house built. So it's going to be...
So where can people find you then?
Pretty much in the Discord. Like I'm not super active there because something else that we didn't get to is that if you know who Viva La Dirt League are, I'm guessing you do.
Yep.
Their community, they run Patreon. They run PUBG customs for Patreons and people in the Discord. A lot of them were getting salty that a few of the players were just noticeably better than the majority of their community because most of them don't play PUBG except for when they join these custom games. As you are aware, I've been playing PUBG on and off since it launched. I have.
Yeah, you play a lot of PUBG.
Something like, I don't know, it's got to be close to
So
1,500
what,
hours now.
you and your mates take it upon yourselves to school the new kids?
We offered to help them improve. We got they got tired of everyone complaining that they were better and wanting them kicked out of the games more or less. So I said, why don't you just offer to train them if they want to play with us. We can run them through basics and stuff. Like none of us are comp level players or anything, but we know enough to win matches consistently. We know how the game works, at least enough to be able to tell them like, look, here is where you're going wrong. And this is, try to do this instead of this, blah, blah, blah. Just give them a fucking hand so that they're a bit more competitive and don't just get steamrolled by us every time they come across us in game. So that Discord server, the Church of the Purple Pants, that's what they called it. That's where I spend most of my time at the moment. But you can find that through the same Discord that we use for NULLSCORE and that I've been using since I started streaming. So
awesome.
Same avenues to finding me, but there's no streams and there's no content going on YouTube, and not until the house is built.
Right.
So yeah, you can't find us anywhere. Good luck.
You can't find us anywhere. But there you go. That's the best place. That's the best way to do it. And with that, that's the first episode of season 2, Jim.
It feels good to be back doing this again.
It actually really does.
Fuck, I'm so red, man. You'll see when this goes up. I've been spending more time outside than my fucking pasty. I have like redhead skin, but not actually red hair. So I just burn. Like I've had girlfriends
you're a
before.
ginger, not ginger, is what you're saying.
We should end this, and then I'm just gonna that's gonna be my end talking point thing. All right,
that's it. I tell you what. Thank you guys for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll catch you next time.
See you next time, guys.
Oh, jeez. So basically, you're Ronald McDonald, but shit. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of, yeah. Like Ronald McDonald, but I make cocktails instead of burgers. And I can make burgers too. I can make some pretty decent fucking burgers, but that's just not my main thing. Yeah, and I've had a couple like
amazing.
girlfriends in the past say like, "Oh, you're really pasty, you're really white. You should get some sun." It's like, man, I can't. What do you want me to get a tan? I can't. I can't tan. Okay, best I can do is
just
go.
burn.
You want to change? I can go red for a few days. That's all I've got. That's all I can fucking do. You want me
Unless
to?
you've got a lobster fetish, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
Like, it's-
You want me to look like some sort of weird fucking lobster crab man? Fuck. Like, that's all I can do. That's all I've got. Other than that, it's just fucking white. White as fuck.
you have two options, and it's strawberries and cream. What do you want?
Yeah. Just put some fucking like patches of sunscreen on me and stick me outside for a few hours so I can be a mix of both. I can look like actual strawberries and cream. Oh, the fucking berries and cream thing. The Starburst ad made a comeback not too long ago. Should have talked about that. Maybe next week.
Next
Yeah.
week.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's red button.